Hi there, Pastor Sio here. How are you? Happy New Year to you. I hope you had an excellent end of the year. 2021, it's gone. I don't think nobody's gonna miss it. 2022 is here, and I'm looking forward for this year. I think it's gonna be an extraordinary year, and I'm really looking forward to it. Do you trust that? I know you do. So our son, Pedro, he's back from Brazil. And this week, we are discussing the things that he wants to do. And boy, there's so many options, you know. For Pedro and for Gabriel, the things that I find it's one of the hardest things for them, it's because they live in a road. There's so many options these days. You can select the brand of clothes that you want to wear. You can choose the toppings on your pizza. When you go to any store, there's so many options to choose from. And boy, it is hard. It is hard for all of us. So I've been seeing his struggle, because he's not sure. You know, Pedro likes basketball and he likes sports. So he was thinking about studying sports management. On the other hand, he wants to make some money. So maybe he wants to study something connected with computers so he can make some money too. So it's a struggle. Besides that, you know, where to do this studying. Yeah, Pedro we are European citizens. I think I mentioned that to you before. We have a citizenship from Spain, so he can go anywhere in Europe to study. He can go back to Brazil and study there because we are citizens of Brazil too. And of course, his parents live in Canada and he's here now. And we are hoping that he's going to choose a Canadian college to attend. I mean, we can only hope, right? As the year begins, I'm always thinking about what to do when we face so many choices these days, you know, because we are facing choices everywhere. What should a believer do? What should a Christian do? So that's the message that I was thinking that I prepare for you today. It's going to be a short message. I'm not going to do those half-an-hour sermons like I did before, but I was thinking like just for us to keep seeing each other, at least you seeing me, for me to do just a short message and think about some practical stuff that we can do as Christians. So a young person come to you, like let's say Pedro, he comes to you and he asks you, you know, I'm not sure, I'm divided, I'm not sure if I should do this or do that. How would you advise him? So that's my message for you today. Well, I guess if someone comes to you and asks that, the first thing you have to tell that person is, all right, maybe I don't know what it is yet, but the first thing we have always to ask ourselves, you know, you, I, and everybody else, is that something that pleases God? You know, is that something that God would be okay with it? Would Jesus do that? So that seems to be like a silly question, but it is not. It's a very important question because usually if it is something bad for your life, you know, if you do this very simple question, many of the things is going to be discarded right away. If it is something that doesn't belong in the kingdom of God, if it is something that doesn't please God, we know right away that's something that you should not do it or I should not do it. Right away we would know that. Simple question, but it is an important question anyway. All right, now let's think about someone coming to you and say, you know, I'm not sure. Like let's use Pedro's example for a minute here, if you will. My advice for Pedro was like, okay, son, if you want to do between these two, which one would you prefer to do? And he's like, well, I'm thinking about doing this computer programming stuff. I was like, okay, so the first thing that we need to find, it's someone that does that, someone that has knowledge of that, someone that works with that, and that person can advise you. I know this can be a challenge sometimes for us, but I have learned in my life that when you seek for someone that's very knowledgeable about any subject, that person, she or he, they have so much pleasure in doing what they do that they would be glad to teach you. I heard like many people, like in Pedro's case, I look for someone that does front-end developing. That's some sort of computer programming stuff. And she was like, oh boy, you know what? I'll be glad to talk to your son, because I hope when I was beginning with this, that I would have searched for someone to tell me, what way to go, what to do, what not to do. And that's what I'm trying to get for Pedro. Because if she goes and if she meets this person, and I hope he will, that person, it's a she, it's a lady. She will help my son. She can give him a pathway. She can tell, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And I was reminded about some Bible teachings, Proverbs, as you know, it's our book of wisdom in the Bible. And there's a proverb, 27:17. I'll put in the screen for you. But it says, iron sharpens iron, and one man sharpens another. So why do we sharp stuff? Why do we sharp a knife or what is the thing that people use to cut wood? A hammer? No, not a hammer. You know what I'm talking about. The Vikings use. That word. It's going to show here for you. So, sorry, I'm losing my English. I've been talking a lot with my family, and we talk Portuguese all the time, and I'm not using English anymore, so I'm forgetting everything. But why do we sharpen stuff? Well, we sharpen stuff to make them more effective, right? So if you're going to cut a tree, you must have oh my gosh, I need to search for that word. Give me a second, I'll be right back. An axe, I should say. Oh boy, I'm losing, I'm telling you. So for what reason we sharpen an axe? It's because that axe is going to be more effective. It's going to do its job. It's going to fulfill its purpose. So what this proverb is saying, the same way, iron sharpens iron, a man can sharpen another man too. Or a woman can sharpen another woman. What does that mean? It means that we can make each other more effective. We can make each other work better, and that's true. I think it's pure wisdom, and it comes from the Bible. I know a lot of people pay a lot of money to learn those things, but look at the Bible. It teaches you all. There's another proverb, 19:20. This one. Listen to what it says. It says, "Listen to advice, and accept instruction, that you may gain wisdom in the future." So what this proverb is saying is that first listen to advice. Advice is a good thing, Sometimes people will give us advice and we're not going to use it. That's okay too. But listen to them. Don't say, you have nothing to teach me. I don't want to learn anything from you. No, listen. Listen to the advice. If you're going to use or not, that's up to you later on. But listen. And accept instruction. So if someone wants to instruct you, or me, or whatever, we should accept that. We should be humble enough to welcome instruction. And that's a sign of wisdom, says the Bible. You know, when we do those things, when we accept instructions and when we listen to advice, that can become wisdom for us in the future. We can share those things in the future. So going back to my son, you know, I found this person for him. They're gonna meet, and she's gonna tell them, you know what, do this, do that, don't do this, don't waste your time here. All right, so you want to be a front-end developer, but front-end developer, they're divided in this people that does this, and these people do that, and that people, you know, so it's good. It's good. It's going to be precious for him. So it should be precious for us. So, all right, so let's remember. First thing we need to do when we are in front of a question and we don't know the answer, or we feel we have too many choices, the first thing we want to do is to seek God. You know, ask, it's God in this. And of course, I'm pretty sure God wants my son to do college, and wants your son to do college, and your grandsons, and so on. So that's not a problem there. But the second thing is, once you know that what you're trying to pursue, it's something that's godly, then step number 2 is to seek wisdom. Seek wisdom where? You can seek wisdom in professionals, you can seek wisdom in older people. For example, here at church, we have these people that we call elders, you know, and they're not elders because you voted on them. Yeah, I'm sure you voted on them because you think they're wiser to you. So it's good people for you to speak with. You can come and talk to your pastor, you know, you can hear from many voices. This is in the Bible too. You can hear many voices, and then you're going to make your decision. Now, once you made that decision, once that decision is made, it may work and it may not work. And that's okay too, because that's life, right? At least you had all the information you could gather, you have that, and you made your decision based on the best information that you had at hand at the time. You know, like my son, he can go to a college, and once he gets to that college, he's like, well, it's not really the place I wanted to be. You know, the program here is not as good as I thought. The classes, the professors are not so good. But at the time, he made that decision with the best information he had at hand, and he's trying now. So the same thing should apply for all of us. There's so many options in life. There's so many choices. But we have to trust that God, it's directing us to the right places. And when you do those things, when you ask first if it's a godly thing, and then you seek wisdoms of your brothers and sisters, that decision most likely will work well. You know, there's no assurance that it's going to work 100% of the time, but it will for sure work most of the time. So that's my message for you today. God bless you. You have a great week, and I hope to see you really soon again. God bless you. Bye-bye.